And just like he's not a lawyer.
Without objection.
We are going to break
Thank
away
you.
from
I
the
ask
testimony of
unanimous
Michael
consent that
Cohen,
the
which is
LA
wrapping
Times
up on
article
Capitol Hill, to
July 16th.
bring you up to date on all today's news. On Live at 4, you can continue to watch the coverage of the hearings on channel3000.com and on CBSN. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4. We'll have the highlights of Michael Cohen's testimony to Congress, and then Charles Franklin will join us to discuss what impact that testimony may have on politics and American opinion.
The testimony on Capitol Hill took the focus away from the U.S.-North Korea summit going on in Hanoi. We'll tell you what happened this morning. And then from Rock County, video of a Rock County man making a daring escape from the jailhouse. It is very daring indeed. Out a window. A little snow this morning, just to freshen things up. Yeah, because, you know, we needed some more just to liven things up in our world. And there's weather words cold. At least with no wind. There you go. Right? There's always a silver lining. There is, absolutely. Let's go to the backyard weather patio. Dana Bolton, the sun is out. That helps.
Yes, I almost need my shades. If I take a step back, all of a sudden I get blinded. And if I come forward, then I'm in the shade a little bit. It's better for us. Yes, some light snow this morning. So far, that puts us in 5th place for the snowiest Februaries in Madison on record. You might remember 2013, 2011, 2008. And 1994, so all very recent years for us in that top 4. We're not too far behind the number 4 and the number 3 spot, of course. 22.5 inches for us. The good news, of course, only one more day left in February, and we're actually expecting a pretty quiet evening for us. Live look downtown, that fresh white blanket for us. We got a little bit of snowfall this morning, but our Doppler track is nice and calm. We aren't expecting any flurries for us this evening. No light snow going to move in as we head into your Thursday morning, though it is pretty chilly outside. About 19 in Madison right now and in Lone Rock, 21 in Janesville and in Monroe. Thankfully, there is a bit of a wind chill to factor in, but it's not too much. Our breeze is going to get a little worse by the weekend. So you'll be thankful for these days that we haven't had too much of a breeze. Over the next 12 hours, our temperatures drop quite a bit. We will be starting the day tomorrow close to 0. Again, thankfully, not a huge wind chill to factor in for us tomorrow, but I can't say the same for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But we'll get a closer look at what's ahead for the weekend and next week. In just a few minutes right now, I do want to take a look at what's going on the roads. Quick first alert traffic update for us. Dane County looks okay overall along the Beltline, both east and westbound. Not seeing any major delays nor any major accidents right now. Bounce up to the northwest side. Sauk County, Columbia County look okay. And for Rock and Jefferson County, again, not seeing any major delays right now, though it is still early in the evening, just getting started for the evening commute. 18 minutes from Middleton to Sauk City. Downtown to Sun Prairie will take you 15 minutes, and 27 minutes from Janesville to the Beltline. You'll definitely need the shades for the drive home. It's going to be cold tonight, guys, and we're in for a chilly few days, but the wind chill this weekend is going to be a very different story. We'll take a look at that in just a few minutes. All right. I say below 0, though, on some of those charts. Yes. That's the direction that we're going, unfortunately. Ooh.
Going the wrong way?
Yeah, the wrong way.
All right, Dave, we'll see you in a few minutes.
First at 4, it was a day of high drama on Capitol Hill, where President Trump's former personal attorney delivered public testimony to lawmakers.
Natalie Brand reports on Michael Cohen's explosive language about the president.
Michael Cohen turned on his former boss, saying he regrets the day he first went to work for Donald Trump.
I am ashamed because I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat.
Testifying under oath, Cohen said President Trump reimbursed him for payments to cover up an affair with porn star Stormy Daniels.
Lying to the First Lady is one of my biggest regrets because she is a kind, good person, and I respect her greatly.
He also said during the presidential campaign, then candidate Trump knew ahead of time about WikiLeaks releasing damaging emails about Hillary Clinton. And he alleged Mr. Trump knew of and directed plans for a Trump Tower in Moscow throughout his 2016 campaign and lied about it. Complicating his testimony, Cohen has pleaded guilty to lying to Congress in the past, which brought a stern warning from the committee chairman.
We will not tolerate lying to this Congress.
And attacks from the right.
You're about to go to prison for lying. How can we believe anything you say?
Republicans fought fiercely to stop Cohen from testifying, calling the disbarred attorney a fraudster and a cheat.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. No one should ever listen to you and give you credibility.
Cohen answered the onslaught with his own accusation.
I did the same thing that you're doing now for 10 years. I protected Mr. Trump for 10 years.
President Trump is at a summit with North Korea, but weighed in on Twitter, saying Cohen is lying to reduce his prison time.
On Capitol Hill, Natalie Brand for News 3 Now.
And Cohen reports to prison in May to serve a 3-year sentence. When asked if there's other wrongdoings that Cohen is aware of but hasn't been discussed, Cohen says yes, that they're part of the investigation being looked at by the Southern District of New York.
Half a world away in Vietnam, President Trump met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. They began their second summit with a handshake, a brief meeting, and a friendly dinner. On Thursday, the leaders get down to business. The U.S. and North Korea signed a joint statement after the first summit calling for a complete denuclearization. But critics argue no concrete steps were laid out. President Trump has urged patience as he negotiates with North Korea.
Some people would like to see it go quicker. I'm satisfied, you're satisfied. We want to be happy with what we're doing.
During their exchanges this morning, Kim Jong-un praised the president for having the political courage to hold the summit and expressed hope for a successful outcome. Well, anyone who's picked up a child at school knows it can be a bit of a headache.
But traffic is so congested at some Oregon schools that police have gotten involved. Our Keely Arthur joins us live at one of the busiest schools in Oregon. Keely.
We are outside of Rome Corners Intermediate School in Oregon, and there is signage that says you're not allowed to park on this side of the road. But just an hour ago, as parents were waiting for their students, there were plenty parked right here. It was bumper to bumper. Now, things have gotten so chaotic that the Oregon Police Department has taken to social media, posting photos of a car blocking a crosswalk today, writing, quote, "Not only is this illegal, but leads to safety issues." Parents are equally concerned. We spoke to a number of them waiting to pick up their kids. They say the district isn't doing much to fix the problem.
Nothing has changed, no. Still a madness cluster every single morning, every single afternoon.
Now, the Oregon School District is aware of the problem and looking for solutions. Superintendent Brian Bussler sent News 3 Now a statement saying, in part, we provide parents with maps and safety tips for dropping off and picking up their children from school. We've also added staff during these times to help keep traffic moving. Now, Rome Corners is not the only school that is dealing with these issues. Oregon Middle School is also very congested. And anyone watching this knows that this problem isn't solely for the Oregon School District. In fact, Mount Horeb passed a referendum about 2 years ago to fix this issue. They expanded pickup and drop-off sites at the high school and also added a parking lot. No big long-term solutions like that here at Oregon right now. Back to you.
Keely Arthur reporting for us this afternoon. Keely, thank you.
Governor Tony Evers will propose indefinitely delaying the closure of the state's troubled juvenile prison, Lincoln Hills. Evers says more time and nearly $200 million more money is needed to construct replacement facilities. It's part of his juvenile justice plan. Evers plans to include in his state budget tomorrow night. He also wants to increase the age for charging juveniles as adults from 17 to 18. Wisconsin is one of only 6 states that treat 17-year-olds as adults.
A special day at Madison Memorial High School. Students welcomed an impressive group of visitors to celebrate the final days of Black History Month. The Madison Memorial Black Student Union created a History in Our Eyes Black Excellence panel, which included Black leaders from around the state, including the state's first African-American Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, who offered his advice to students to follow in his footsteps.
And a lot of that is just be authentic, chase your goals, don't give up the regular stuff. But I think the biggest one that stood out is reminding them to be authentic, be themselves. Don't be afraid to be who you are, because you're going to have a very difficult time trying to be someone else.
The panel also included Carolyn Stanford Taylor, the first Black woman to serve as state superintendent of schools, and Sheila Stubbs, the first African-American to represent Madison in the state assembly.
The Rock County Sheriff's Office has released video of a brazen escape from their jail building. The video shows a 17-year-old being brought into an interview room and, when left alone, dives out of the second-floor window. Quantrell Schwartzlow is then seen running across the jail property last October, but his freedom was short-lived. He He was back in custody in about 4 hours, and an escape charge was added to his charge of felony suffocation. He's pleaded not guilty to both.
Still to come on more on the Cohen testimony today against President Trump.
Will what he has to say against the president move the needle with Americans? The director of the Marquette Law School poll, Charles Franklin, joins us next with his thoughts. That's when Live at 4 continues. Well, if it feels like you're spending more time behind the wheel, it's because you probably are. A new study shows that the average American is spending more time driving.
New research from AAA reveals Americans are spending an extra 20 minutes driving each week compared to 5 years ago. AAA's Tamara Johnson says a number of factors are slowing things down on the road. The strong economy has more people buying cars, and with lower gas prices, they're driving more. All that leads to more congestion, especially in large cities with long commutes.
Maybe it's even actually adjusting your commute time, so you're actually traveling a little earlier in the morning, try to avoid some of that congestion.
AAA says drivers in the West spend the most time driving at nearly an hour a day, followed by drivers in the Northeast who are on the road about 51 minutes daily.
So it's not that bad here.
Keep
it in perspective.
Considering, right?
Stock slipped today as Michael Cohen testified on Capitol Hill. The Dow Industrials fell 72 points, closing at 25,985.
The NASDAQ Composite Index managed 5-point gain, but the S&P 500 was off 1.5 points. He's a racist. He is a con man. He is a cheat. That's how lawyer Michael Cohen describes his former client, President Donald Trump. As part of the explosive testimony from Cohen today before a House committee, Republicans claim Cohen, a convicted felon, is a liar.
How damaging are the accusations against Trump? Well, the director of the Marquette Law School poll, Charles Franklin, joins us once again. Welcome to you.
Good to be here.
Quite a day in Washington.
Quite a day, wall to wall.
People love the president or they hate the president. Is this going to change anybody's opinion?
Yeah, I think the statements that you just quoted from Cohen, he's a liar, a cheat, a racist, and from Republicans that Cohen is the one who's lied, those are not likely to have much effect. If there's an effect of this and other testimony, it's in the point-by-point details of what happened. So point by point here, that Trump was engaged in the hush money payments, that he knew about them no matter what he said publicly, and that he and Don Jr. and Trump's longtime accountant signed checks to reimburse for that. That's the kind of detail that, when credibly presented, may start to have some effects. That the Trump Tower negotiations went on during the campaign despite statements, and a couple of other things that were said. I think if we can go all the way back to Watergate, President Nixon's job approval numbers didn't move much when it was the Washington Post reporting the story. Where the drop-off in Nixon's support came was during the Watergate hearings that were televised and where witnesses laid out the facts of the case. So I think that's the issue here. Today we had a full day of highly visible case-by-case testimony. You also had criticisms from Republicans. And actually, Cohen said a few things that exonerated the president, that Cohen had never been to Prague as part of a scheme with Russia and some other things. So anyway, I think it's the systematic laying out of those things that may have an effect over the long run, rather than characterizing the president one way or characterizing Cohen the other.
Does Cohen have anything to lose at this point?
Well, it's an interesting question. He has a lot to lose if he lies again. If he were to create new perjury questions for him or contradicted things he's told the prosecutors, because he appears to have said today he's cooperating with the Southern District of New York in some undisclosed cases. So there is certainly something to lose there if he doesn't tell the truth.
This did have a Watergate feel to it today.
I think it did. You know, with the back and forth of the different questioners, you don't have the same coherence that you have in an actual trial where a prosecutor lays out the case, brings in corroborating witnesses. That's something that wasn't there today. But Cohen pointed to several people who could corroborate his story, and in a trial you'd see that. And likewise, the criticism of Cohen went mostly to his credibility because of his past lies or his character. A defense attorney would have been a little more aggressive in confronting the claims that Cohen made on a factual basis of when did you meet, who was there, who paid for what.
He's convicted of lying. I mean,
yes,
that's a fact.
He has admitted that. It's part of his plea deal that he's going to serve, I believe it's 3 years in prison for.
Well, he said in testimony today, he said, I've lied in the past, I'm not lying today.
And that's where the concern is, well, if you were lying then, are you lying now? That's why the details are so important, because if there are checks with Don Jr.'s signature and with the accountant's signature, those are people who he's now brought in that can corroborate why they wrote that check to him.
This could almost be like a choose your own ending book, so to speak, but what could happen next? I mean, this isn't a get to know you type of, situation. There's got to be some action points or action items to take after this.
I think on the congressional side, clearly with Democrats now in control of the committee and other committees, we can have other hearings, we can have other witnesses called to corroborate his claims or to contradict them. And on the criminal justice side, what's going on in the Southern District of New York appears to be some additional cases, but we don't know very much about them. And then finally, there's the Mueller report and any new indictments that the Mueller investigation may lead to. And the question is always, when? How much longer before that happens?
Yeah, a lot of people are waiting for that as well. Yeah. Interesting day.
It is. Wait till tomorrow.
Just the beginning. Charles, good to see you as always. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks.
And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Take a look at this. The hills and valleys of Southern California are celebrating spring, and it is gorgeous. You're looking at what's called a super bloom. It happens when fields of gold and poppies cover green hillsides with waves of orange highlights. The phenomenon is especially pronounced this year because of a wet winter in Riverside County. A similar bloom 2 years ago turned some areas into instant tourist attractions, and the same thing is expected for this year.
That's pretty.
Isn't that pretty?
Yes. So 2 Madison chefs have been selected as 2019 James Beard Award semifinalists. One of the top honors in the culinary world. Tori Miller of Les Trois was named as a semifinalist in the Outstanding Chef category.
That's the best in the country.
It is, the absolute best. The category includes other top chefs across the nation. Miller and Les Trois have been nominated numerous times.
Now, Johnny Hunter of Four Quarter received a 2019 James Beard Award nod for Best Chef Midwest. This is his 5th consecutive semifinalist ranking. Hunter is also the co-founder of Underground Food Collective, which includes Underground Catering, Underground Butchering, and Four Quarter. So, there's my restaurant list for the rest of March now.
We are so lucky to be living in Madison. There's so many good restaurants.
And Tori, this is his 2nd time being nominated for that category.
The top, Midwest. He's won Midwest several times.
Once.
Once?
Once,
Okay.
yes.
But this is
Fantastic.
So
it's like the Eric Franke of chefs.
Yes, the Eric Franke of chefs.
Think about that. All right.
Right.
You get a break from the snow?
No. Well, yes, break from the snow. Not so much of a break from the cold, though. We do have a little snow before we end the week, though. Starting off March, a little rough. We'll take a look at your forecast right after the break. So some light snowfall for us this morning. Right now, though, we have sunshine downtown. So that's a nice change. We're not looking at snowfall for this evening. We actually get a little break in the snow. Certainly going to be cold outside. But we're not concerned about any flurries coming in. So snowfall totals for us overnight into early this morning. Just over an inch for Baraboo and in Reedsburg. In Madison, we picked up just at an inch. But looking up towards Sheboygan, almost 5.5 inches, almost 5 inches for Fond du Lac and Rock Springs. Just about an inch and a half of snowfall. So again, lighter amounts for us around Madison, but if you're going northeast or if you are in the northeast area, certainly picked up a little more snow. This is just helping to catapult us up over what our seasonal average should be at the end of the season, but certainly very early on in the season to be over 50 inches. Right now, 51.5 inches for us. That does put us 11 inches over for what we should be at for the month of February. And notice our trend for the last few years has been to be below average. We're certainly climbing in the other direction. We haven't had this much snowfall for quite some time, going back about 4 years since we've crossed that 50-inch mark. Our Doppler track's nice and calm tonight. We're going to just see a cool, clear evening. Partly cloudy sky expected for us overnight, but no flurries will be coming in for us. High pressure off to the west, helping to keep things a little quiet. Of course, that low that brought our flurries for us this morning now moving well to the east. Not expecting any more flurries to move in for us overnight. Our temperatures, though, are going to fall. We'll be landing close to zero to start off the day. Wind chills will only be just a little bit below zero. Thankfully, we don't have much of a breeze to factor in. I can't say the same for the weekend, but at least looking ahead to tomorrow morning, we aren't expecting too much of a drop with our wind chills. Afternoon highs will be in the low 20s. We should be in the mid 30s, so it is going to be a cold day for us. Heading into Friday morning, temperatures will start off in the single digits, and then our next opportunity for some light snowfall is going to come in for us Friday afternoon and last into Saturday morning, but ending pretty early on in the day on Saturday. That's good news. It won't be all morning long for us on Saturday. So by Friday evening, we have flurries for much of southern Wisconsin. Northern Illinois may see some freezing rainfall. Light snow expected throughout central Wisconsin. Those flurries last overnight and then start to wrap up early in the day on Saturday. By about 9-10 o'clock on Saturday, we're not looking at any snowfall falling. Actually expecting a partly sunny sky for us for Saturday and some sunshine on Sunday as well. So looking towards La Crosse, that's where we'll see our highest totals through that central band for us in Wisconsin, anywhere from 2 to 5 inches. But for us in the southern corner, we're expecting more 1 to 3 inch totals for us. Not as much snowfall will be falling for us again for southern Wisconsin, stretching down into northern Illinois. Temperatures overnight dropping close to zero. It is going to be partly cloudy and cold to start off the morning. Our breeze light, but from the northwest. And that light breeze isn't going to give us too much of a wind chill to factor in early on in the day. 22 will be our high for tomorrow. We're expecting a few clouds in the day, and it's going to be cold outside. Slight chance for some flurries later on in the evening, but most of our snow potential is really going to come in late in the evening on Friday and last into early Saturday. Temperatures stretching into Saturday will stay in the 20s for afternoon highs, but as we head into Sunday morning, notice we're expecting to drop below zero for actual temperatures, and our wind chills will be much colder than that. Because of this, we have added 3 alert days to the forecast for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Our concerns: how cold it's going to feel in the morning. Our temps will be below zero. Our wind chills looking ahead to Monday and Tuesday morning. It'll be up to 25 below zero for us. To start off the week, our first week of March is going to be just a little chilly outside. So that sunshine that comes along this weekend and for Monday will be a little deceptive. Don't believe the sun. Sorry, guys.
But there is sun.
But there is sun. There is sun. And that snow chance again on Friday. Only expected to bring 1 inch to 3 inches max for us in southern Wisconsin.
So this is going to be it. This cold spell, and then we're going to start heading uphill.
I'm not going to make any promises.
Don't do that to her.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
I do too.
If
wishful thinking.
Right. If March comes in like a lion right now, and that's what we're expecting this weekend, to go out like a lamb. Right?
Okay.
And meteorologically speaking, spring starts on Friday.
Correct. Our first day of meteorological spring is March 1st.
So there you go.
It's just not going to feel like it.
So much for that.
Right.
All right,
Sound right.
Thank you.
There will be a new starting quarterback at Camp Randall this fall.
Wisconsin quarterback Alex Hornibrook has announced he will be leaving the program and will enter the NCAA transfer portal. With the Badgers, Hornibrook went 26-6 in 3 seasons as starting quarterback. His winning percentage is the best in program history. Chase Wolf, Danny Vanden Boom, Jack Cohn, Nate Carter, and Graham Mertz are all in position to become the starting quarterback this season. The Badgers will open spring practice on March 26th.
Well, there's some new explosive information out there. There's a new HBO documentary airing this weekend that alleges that Michael Jackson is a child molester.
We'll hear from the man making the claims against the late King of Pop when Live at 4 continues.
So a live look from our Edgewater Skycam. It's got a ways to go.
Go west, young man.
I don't know. Wait, he's all alone out there. Where did he come from? Where's he going? Oh, I see.
The picnic point?
Yep. Well, he's in the middle of it.
Yeah, he is.
Good luck. Be safe. There's a new explosive HBO documentary about Michael Jackson called Leaving Neverland.
It's a story about two men who accuse Michael Jackson of molesting them while they were young boys. But the Jackson family says both men are not credible. Tom Hansen has the story.
Wade Robson and James Safechuck met Michael Jackson when they were both under the age of 10.
Every night that I was with him, there was abuse, while my mother was, next door.
Safechuck and the King of Pop filmed a Pepsi commercial together.
Looking for me?
In an explosive new HBO documentary, Leaving Neverland, both men say Jackson molested them. They claim Jackson told them that they had to keep it a secret.
He started talking about how much he loves me. What this is us, how we show our love for each other. The other people are ignorant and they're stupid.
The Jackson family is pushing back against the allegations. In an exclusive interview with CBS News, family members told Gayle King that the men are opportunists and want only one thing.
Why do you think they're coming forward now?
Money.
You think it's all about money?
Well, it's all about money.
It's always been about money. I hate to say it when it's my uncle. It's almost like they see a blank check.
Back in 1993, Safechuck gave a statement saying the singer never harmed him for a molestation case involving another boy. When Jackson faced criminal charges in 2005, Robson took the stand proclaiming Jackson's innocence.
The facts are a public record. I mean, would he testify under oath, all the different things that he said? Those are the facts.
The Jackson brothers say they haven't seen the documentary and criticize the filmmaker for not getting their side of the story. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
Michael Jackson settled the 1993 case against him, and he was acquitted in a 2005 criminal trial.
Who do you believe? Well, have you had it with winter? Are there other stresses in your life?
Yes. Maybe it's a matter of resilience. Our next guest, Dr. Christine Whelan, will show us how to cope when Live at 4 continues.
So the Beltline right now actually isn't looking too bad outside. That's the good news for us. We're actually expecting both the westbound and the eastbound lanes to continue to look okay. This is, again, right at Todd Drive. West and eastbound all looking just fine. Downtown, not seeing any major delays. I do want to bounce over to Jefferson County, where there is an accident right now, actually northbound on 26. The right lane is blocked right before the exit to Business 26. and Schrape Road. Looking up towards Sauk County, not seeing any delays right now, and no accidents around Janesville, which is always good. Now, our drive times from Janesville to the Beltline, 26 minutes, Middleton to Sauk City, about 18, and then downtown to Sun Prairie at 17 minutes. Northbound from Verona to the Beltline, it'll take you 6 minutes, just a little longer than usual. And then from Oregon to the Beltline, 7 minutes, and Springfield to University Avenue, just a quick little 4-minute drive in that direction. That's a quick look at First Alert traffic.
Thank you, Dana. The smallest surviving male baby in the world went home in Tokyo today. The boy weighed just 268 grams, or just over a half a pound at birth. He was sent home after months in the hospital. The baby was born by C-section last August after he failed to gain weight during the pregnancy. He was allowed to go home when he tipped the scales at 7 pounds.
Look how tiny.
I know. But he made it. That's the great news.
That is great news. Well, you've heard the expression, life happens. We all experience challenges in life, but in this brutal winter weather or a loss of difficult transitions.
Resilience is how we adapt to and recover from tough times. So how do we cope during times of stress and build that resilience to weather whatever comes next in life?
We welcome back Dr. Christine Whelan, a clinical professor at the UW School of Human Ecology. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
How can we get through this winter?
I know. So whether it's, the seasonal affective disorder that is setting in for so many of us and that just overwhelm at the ice in the winter, or whether it's more serious traumas and losses, life happens. We all face really difficult things in our lives. And how we get through it is a matter of resilience. So resilience is how we both adapt to and recover from trauma, how we deal with the tough times in life. And sometimes we think, oh, well, either you have it or you don't. But actually, we can build resilience and we can learn strategies to be more resilient in those tough times.
I always say that, when you're dealing with stuff, there are people out there who are like, oh my gosh, you're so strong, you do this. But I say it's okay to break down. You have to go through that whole brokenness and go through all of that to get out to the other side, to be resilient.
Absolutely.
Am I off on this?
No. So resilience is not about not feeling your feelings during trauma. In fact, it's the opposite, really. There are two ways that we deal with stress. One is called problem-focused coping. And that's where you say, okay, listen, I have a problem. I'm going to make a list of things I need to do. I am going to set goals, and I'm going to fix this problem. And that's really, really great. But there's another part we have to engage in as well, and that's emotion-focused coping, where we actually feel our feelings and say, my brain exists in a body. This physically hurts. This emotionally hurts. This tough time is really taking a toll. And with all of these things, no man is an island. We all need each other. And that's an interesting thing that we see in resilience research, is that the single most important reason why people are resilient and can grow their resilience is relationships. If you have someone to talk to and help support you through the tough times.
So you can build up resiliency.
Absolutely. So one way to build up resiliency is to make sure you have strong relationships. Another way to build up resilience is to sort of think going forward, as before you get into one of those situations, what might I need? And one of the things that we need is the ability to feel our feelings and to be present in the moment. So whether it's mindfulness or whether it's a compassion meditation exercise, kind of getting comfortable with yourself and various different emotions before the big one hits can really help. We never know when a bad thing is going to happen in our lives, but we also don't have to think about it as only that bad thing. We have these regular stressors all day, every day going on, right? Whether it's the fact that, there's a ton of ice out there, whether it's the fact that, someone's being kind of irritating at work. And so having some resilience to roll with things as they come in and acknowledge that the stress is real, but you can move through it, that's a very empowering position as well.
How do you support somebody who might be going through a tough time?
So one of my favorite things to tell people about this is don't ask, what can I do?
Really?
Don't ask, what can I do? Just do something. Whether it is showing up with a meal, whether it's saying, listen, I'm going to take you on this activity. Don't give the person who is struggling another thing to think about, like how you can help them. Actually just go out there and help them. Also, really just listening and saying, I'm right here, right now, I'm here to talk about anything. If you want to talk about what's bothering you, I'm here to listen. If you want to talk about, sports or the weather, I can talk about that too.
So don't necessarily try to console the person.
No, people will tell you what they need, and especially in those tough times. And often in the moment of real trauma, there's no consoling anybody. We've just got to be right there with it. We've got to feel the onslaught of those terrible feelings.
I think we've all been there at one point or another.
I always say hold the space for the person,
You
just
do.
to allow them to be.
And I think my second bit of advice on that is the person won't forget the trauma. So you feel free to say, how are you doing? Whether it's weeks or months or years later, because they're not going to forget. And so you don't have to pretend like it never happened and walk on eggshells and worry about bringing it up. Actually being there for them sometimes means remembering an anniversary of someone's passing, remembering that this is a particularly tough holiday for somebody. We can all be there and support as a community.
And spring is coming.
And spring is coming.
The
Oh,
ice,
please,
the ice will
please.
melt.
Yes. Metaphorically and in reality,
Yes,
the ice will melt.
Christine, thanks for being with us again.
Thanks so
and
much.
Congratulations on your TED Talk.
Oh, why, thank you. I appreciate it.
And online?
Yes, I'll
She's
put it
kind of a
online
big
soon.
deal.
She's a big deal now.
Thank you, guys. It's good to be here.
Great
Thanks.
to have you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Right back with the final check of your forecast. All right, we got some cold coming our way.
Yes, it is going to be a little cold for us. Overnight, we're going to fall close to 0. Partly cloudy sky expected. Right now, notice our Doppler radar is nice and calm. We're at 19 currently in Madison. We're going to fall overnight, though, again, close to 0. But our breeze isn't going to pick up, though.
That'll help.
Yes, yes, until we get into the weekend. The weekend is going to be much colder outside. We did pick up a little bit of snow, of course, this morning. That puts us in 5th place for our snowiest Februarys. Thankfully, we only have one more day left in February, so I think we're going to sit pretty steady in 5th place. We're not expecting any more snow to come through tonight or tomorrow. That's my gift. I've had a lot of bad news, but I've had to do that.
The shortest month seems like the longest ever. Yeah, it really does.
Dragging a bit.
All right, Dan. Thank you.
Tomorrow on Live at 4, a UW Far East expert tells us what he thinks of the latest summit with North Korea.
And we go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs. He'll tell us what he thinks of the 2019 Mini Countryman. It's a small sport SUV. We'll see you tomorrow.
In today's Final Touch, we present one of the world's more colorful sporting spectacles.
We are talking about the fight